ओम सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो Ramakrishnaaya te namaha. We are studying here Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master, second part, that is at the Sadhaka, and we have to read today 18th chapter. The name of the 18th chapter is The Master's Pilgrimage and the Story of Leela. Two separate issues are there. And in the last para of the previous chapter, it was mentioned that after Thakur came back to Dakshineshwar from Kamarpukur, two important events happened in his life. So we have to meet with those important events here. No, an important event, sorry. An important event happened in his life. Shortly after his return, we will present it to the reader now. So he is going to present one important event in Master's life. The Master's pilgrimage settled. Mathuranath and his wife were now getting ready to visit the principal holy places of northwestern India. In the mind of the Bengalis, including Sardan Swamiji, northwestern India means today what we call UP. For Indians in general, northwestern part in those days has gone to Pakistan now. Punjab, that would be the northwestern part. And beyond Punjab, what we call Baluchistan, Afghanistan, they were all India. But compared to Bengal, if northwest of Bengal, if you go, we may meet Bihar for some time, but then UP. Now let me tell you little history of this name UP. Today we are calling it Uttar Pradesh. But that was not the original significance of UP. The previous name was United Provinces. Previous to that, there were two different areas. United Provinces of Agra and Oudh. That was the full name. So Agra and Oudh means Ayodhya. So Ayodhya had a kingdom or whatever, and Agra had a sultanate or Muslims kingdom. And when the Britishers got the possession of this by defeating those, they joined these two for the sake of administration. And so they called it United Provinces of Agra and Oudh. After independence, the name remained UP for some time. And of course, this UP or United Provinces of Agra and Oudh continued still more northwest, what we call Uttarakhand today was also a part of Uttar Pradesh till very recently. So this was the idea of northwestern part of India. After freedom, we used to call it, the government changed the name, keeping the initial same as Uttar Pradesh. So that one should understand when he tells that northwestern part, we mean this compared to Bengal. A day for the starting on the journey was fixed in the month of January, and it was settled that many persons, Mathur's Guru's son, they had a Kula Guru system. So officially, Thakur has never given Diksha to Mathur or Rani or Jagdambadasi. They revered Thakur as their Guru, as their father, as their Ishtadevata. But officially, in those days in Bengal, there was a Kula Guru Pratha in vogue. That means if there is a Guru for a family, his son would be the next Guru. Like that in lineage, they would be the Guru to this family. So, his Guru at that time, his son, was to be a part of the family because they may require Purohit's work here and there. So that was the Guru doing priestly duties for them. And during pilgrimage, they may require a lot of places to do some rituals. So the Guru's son was taken with them and others should go with him. Mathur and his wife made importunate request to the master to go with them to fulfill the spiritual needs on the way. They wanted Sri Ramakrishna. Consequently, he agreed to accompany them. That was the divine purpose. We have seen this pilgrimage as Guru in the Guru Bhav Uttararddha. Now we are dealing with the Sadhak Bhav. And so, this will become a part of his Sadhak Bhav. Two angles that look at the same process. So he agreed to accompany them with his aged mother and his nephew Hriday. Now here it will immediately strike us that in the previous chapter they told that Master went on pilgrimage, but his mother did not because she was determined to live near the bank of the Ganges. Now, he himself in a footnote has cleared what is the confusion. Some say that the Master's mother did not go on pilgrimage with him, but Hriday told us she did. So one against many. Accepting the many's version, he said that she did not go. But in this chapter, we are going to meet with Hriday's description throughout that he will mention next. And so, accepting Hriday's version, he has written that, and in footnote he has clarified both the versions. And his nephew Hriday, the day of starting. Mathur started with the master and others on an auspicious day, January 27th. Okay. 1868. We have told the reader many things about the master's pilgrimage elsewhere, Guru Uttararddha. We shall therefore briefly mention here what we heard about it from Hriday. So that is the narration. It did not come there. The arrangement about the pilgrimage. About 125 persons in all. Mathur was like a Raja, a Rajaguni. And so, when he goes on pilgrimage, 125 persons in all. Sri Ramakrishna, his mother, here also mother is mentioned because Hriday's narration. Mathur, his wife, his daughter-in-law, Mathur's daughter-in-law, his guru's son, Hriday, a Brahmin cook, a gatekeeper, and gatekeeper, we may say bodyguard or because they are not living in a house to have a gatekeeper. That is, so there are differences in version. When you look at it, the Bengali only says more than 100 and English says 125. তারপরে who went and all that? Oh. Anyway, so we are getting this additional information in English, which is not in Bengali, that how many and who, a Brahmin cook, a gatekeeper, and men servants and women servants started to visit the places of pilgrimage on that occasion. One second class and three third class carriages were reserved for them by the railway company. So this also for the new readers, they have to understand. Now we do not meet with any third class. But actually, the old third class is there. When the changeover took place, I remember I went to purchase a third class ticket and the man on the counter very stylistically says, Indian Railway has no third class. That means what they abolished was the old first class, mind you. And old second class, they converted into first class. They just changed the name. Those two eyes are there na, for second. So they rubbed out one on the carriages. So it becomes first class. And there was another class in those days called the intermediate class. When the big British or other officers used to go, their peon or servant or PAs also used to go. And the British officers will go by the second class or sometimes the first class, those first classes. But their attendants or servants will go inter-class, a slightly superior than the old third class. So in third class, if they remove one, it becomes second class. Of course, the luxury and conveniences increased many-fold. The old third class had only wooden benches. There was no cushion. There was no sleeper. There was no reservation. So that railway, Indian railway, was completely different. But with all that, the company had reserved for them, that is, Mother got reserved for their travel, one second class, which is today's first class, and three third class, that means today's second class. Yes, what we call second class sleeper. Sleeper was not there on those days, second class. Second class seating, that was the arrangement. So we should get the realistic pictures. So I am describing. One second class and three third class carriages were reserved for them by the railway company. And it was arranged that whenever Mathur liked, they should detach those four bogies at any place between Calcutta and Kashi. So reservation was not in a train. Reservation was for compartments. They would be attached to any running train. And Mathur wants, he may detach them and stay in some place for some time. Then in the next train, they would attach that again. That was the arrangement. Visit to Sri Vaidyanath and service to the poor. Mathur and others visited Sri Vaidyanath at Deoghar. Two names. Actually, that place also is called Vaidyanath Dham. Vaidyanath is a Jyotirlinga Shiva temple. And Deoghar simply means the house of the god. In Maharashtra, for your information, within the householder's house, a room is preserved for the deities, and that is called Deoghar. So, Deoghar means house of the gods. So that Vaidyanath Dham, because of the god there, is called Deoghar. So here, the deity is called Vaidyanath and the name of the town is called Deoghar. on the way and rested a few days there. So detached compartments rested in Deoghar for some time. An important event occurred. The master's heart. So the important event which mentioned seems to be the pilgrimage. Here, within that, an important event occurred. The master's heart became filled with compassion on seeing the miserable plight of men and women of a poor village there. Within the around Deoghar, in a poor village, he saw the miserable condition of the residents. Now this has started the poor man's relief, etc. in the Ramakrishna mission. He requested Mathur to feed them one day and to give a piece of cloth to each of them, which he did. This also, the description was made in the Gurubha Uttarartha here, because of the Sadhakbhav narration and narration by Hridaya, it is mentioned again. A mishap on the way. This is newly mentioned here. From Deoghar, Mathur went direct to Kashi. Nothing of importance happened on the way, except that when Sri Ramakrishna and Hridaya got down at a certain station near Kashi, the train started before they could get into it. Because in Thakur Samadhi, they were leisurely walking by. Mathur became anxious and wired from Kashi. Now this wire thing has gone from India. There it was called telegraph, wire. That was the quickest way of sending a message through the post office. Now it has been abolished. Because of this computers and information technology and cell phones, that's wireless has been abolished. Then they should be sent by the next train. That was the wireless sent. But they did not have to wait for the next train. Rajendra Bandyopadhyay, an important officer of the railway company, arrived there on supervision duty in a special train shortly afterwards, and seeing them in that plight, took them with him up to Kashi. So he arrived from Bengal perhaps, special train, and seeing them, he took them with him. Rajendra Bandyopadhyay was the resident of the Bagbazar quarter of Calcutta. When he reached Kashi, Mathur Babu hired 2 houses side by side on the Kedar Ghat. In Kashi, actually, there is one continuous ghat. But according to the important temple near that, it is named by that. So Kedareshwar temple is there, a replica of the actual Kedarnath temple. Within that, if you go, it is very cold also. So that Kedarnath temple in front, there is a Kedar Ghat. There, he hired 2 houses, side by side on the Kedar Ghat. Now, I am worried that more 125 people, more than 100, how they could be accommodated in 2 houses. Though they must have been large mansions. He behaved there like a prince in all respects. Yes, when he goes on pilgrimage, a Rajuguni Bhakta, he will have all the pomp and show. Whenever he went out, a silver umbrella was held over his head, and servants would carry silver maces and other paraphernalia before and after it, just like a Raja. They stayed at Kedar Ghat and paid their obeisance to Sri Vishwanath, that is the main temple in Kashi. While he was staying there, Sri Ramakrishna went in a palanquin to pay his obeisance to Vishwanath. So, a special accompanying Mathur Babu. So he arranged to send Thakur by palanquin. The principal deity of Kashi. Almost every day, Hridaya accompanied him on foot. From Kedarnath, not far distance, so Hridaya accompanied him on foot. He went by palanquin. Even on the way to the temple, the master used to pass into ecstasy just by thinking that he is going to Vishwanath. Not to speak of the time when he saw the deity. So on the way to the temple, he went into Samadhi, and when he saw the deity, then deep Samadhi. Though he entered into ecstasy in all the temples, he especially experienced it in the temple of Kedarnath. As I said, that is a very special temple. Though Vishwanath is the main deity, Kedarnath has its own beauty. The master and Trailanga Swami. Besides visiting the temples, the master went to see the eminent holy men of Kashi. Hridaya always accompanied him. The master paid a few visits to the famous Trailanga Swami, one of the foremost of the Paramahamsas. His actual name is not known. He, it appears, had come from Telangana, and that Trailanga Swami became Trailanga. This seems to be the Utpatti. One of the foremost of Paramahamsas, and Thakur went to visit him more than once. The Swami was then observing the vow of silence and was staying at the Manikarnika Ghat. That is the most famous ghat in Kashi, Manikarnika Ghat. The Hindus have the faith that if somebody, after his death, the body is cremated, burned on the Manikarnika Ghat, he attains mukti. So that is Manikarnika. The Puranic story goes that Parvati lost her earring and Mahadev is searching that fell there. That is called Manikarnika. Whatever that may be, but that is the ghat where people struggle to get their people burned after the death. So Trailanga Swami was staying in Manikarnika Ghat. On their first meeting, the Swami placed his snuff box before the master for his use by way of giving a cordial reception to him. So Trailanga Swami also recognized Thakur immediately. And as they offer tea or tobacco or betel nut, he offered his snuff box. Examining his sense organs and the limbs of his body, the master told Hridaya that he bore the signs of a true Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa, that is, in the Manas Sarovar there are Rajavansas, and if milk and water mixed is placed before them, they take away the milk, leaving the water. That is the famous. And that is why the sannyasi who can realize God in this world, that is called Paramahamsa. A true Paramahamsa, not by name only. You know, we are all called Paramahamsa sannyasis in name. And that he was, so to say, the living image of Shiva. So, I doubt whether this so to say is in Bengali. देखो ना, unnecessary, there it has become diluted. इहते यथार्थ परमोंसेर लखन शकल वर्तमान इन्हीं साक्षात विश्वेश्वर. How direct it is, how direct it is. And this directness has become killed. That he bore the signs of a true Paramahamsa and that he was the living image of Shiva. Sakshat Vishweshwar. Vishesha, that Vishwanath Shiva. So Vishwanath Shiva himself is in human form here. That is what Thakur paid respect to Triranga Swami. What is so to say? He was the living image of Shiva. The Swami had resolved to have a ghat built near. The Swami means Trilanga Swami. So we will find something wonderful there. Huh? Huh. Now, I remember in the Gita, in the 12th chapter, about the Nirgun Sadhak as it is mentioned, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata. We find the picture here. He was observing Mauna. He was Nirguna, realized person. And by his advice or inspiration, a ghat was being built. So in those days, the ghat may not be continuous. So near Manikarnika Ghat, he wanted another ghat to be built for the convenience of the people, though he was Paramahansa. Remember this. The Swami, that means Sri Swami, had resolved to have Sankalpa Kori actually, no, okay. The Swami had resolved to have a ghat built near Manikarnika. At the request of the master, Hriday helped that work forward by placing a few spadefuls of earth there. So as Trilanga Swami had inspired people, Thakur could not Hriday to do it. He himself would not. So he told Hriday to do, and Hriday helped that work by putting some earth in that. One day afterward, the master invited the Swami and brought him to the Mathur's residence. Oh, he had accepted. But it is reverse in Bengali. That's why it struck me as strange. That Swami is lying there and how it will go elsewhere. It has been reversed. Thakur paid a visit to him and fed him pious. And here it has become reverse. Brought him to Mathur's residence. Impossible. Afterwards, the master visited the Swami once more and treated him to rice porridge with his own hand. Bapre. Please change this. The master did not invite the Swami to Mathur's residence. The master paid another visit to the Swami and treated him to rice porridge with his own hand. Yes. The master's behavior at Prayag. The master stayed at Kashi for 5 or 6 days and then went to Prayag with Mathur. Later on it was called Allahabad. Now they have again called it Prayag Raj, Tirtharaj Prayag, where Ganges and Yamuna meet together, and it is another supposition, actually a fact in those days, that the Saraswati river also meets there. So it is called Triveni Sangam. That is called Prayag, Prayagraj. Prayag means any tributaries of Ganga joining together. There are Pancha Prayag in the Himalayas. And this is the Prayag on the plains. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati meeting with each other. That Saraswati has become underground now. People have found the whole map of Saraswati. And then went to Prayag with Mathur. He bathed in the holy confluence. So there the main thing is now we don't see Saraswati. But the Ganga and Yamuna meet each other. And it is very, very clear because Ganges water is white, Yamuna water is dark or black. And we can clearly see the white and the black together. Then the black merges into white. He bathed in the holy confluence and stayed there for 3 nights in Prayagraj, not at the holy confluence. Mathura and all there shaved their heads there according to scriptural injunction. But the master did not do so, saying, it is not necessary for me to do it, because sannyasi does not have to do it. Otherwise, that is another ritual there, shave your head. From Prayag, they returned to Kashi, where they stayed for a fortnight before proceeding to Vrindavan. So that was the last point where Thakur went, Vrindavan, in UP. The master visited places like Nidhuvan in Vrindavan. So that is more important now. Mathur stayed in a house near Nidhuvan at Vrindavan. What is Nidhuvan? Where the Ras Leela used to part. That one is forest. There we have some shrubs now. And that is called Nidhuvan. He displayed his pomp and power there also as in Kashi. He would go with his wife to visit temples where he offered a few gold coins as a token of respect while saluting the deities. Besides visiting Nidhuvan, the master paid visits to Radha Kunda, Sham Kunda and the Govardhan Hill. So, Nidhuvan and Radhakunda, Shamkunda are little outside Vrindavan. And Govardhan is the famous hill there. Ascending to the peak of that hillock in an ecstatic mood. So seeing the hillock, he became in Samadhi and went straight up. He heard of the eminent holy men of the place and paid visits to them. The names are not mentioned here. He was highly pleased to meet one name, Ganga Mata at Nidhuvan. He indicated to Hriday the signs on her person and said that she had attained a very high state of spirituality. The master returned to Kashi and stayed there. Kashi, Prayag, Kashi, Vrindavan, Kashi. Having stayed at Vrindavan for about a fortnight, Mathura and others returned to Kashi in order to see Vishwanath, the universal Lord, Vishwanath, the universal Lord, adorned in a special dress and ornaments. They stayed there till the middle of 1868. So on some special occasions, that Vishwanath Shiva is decorated. Oh, I'll tell you something. They stayed there up to Vaishak. That means April. The solar Vaishak of Bengal is from 14th or 15th April to 14th or 15th May. And during that time, yes, adorned in a special dress and ornaments, that is about Annapurna. The master saw the golden image of Annapurna during this period. So during Chaitra, 1 month before that April, the Annapurna is golden Annapurna is otherwise kept hidden. That day it is brought for everybody's darshan. સ્વર્ણમય અન્નપૂર્ણા પ્રતિમા દર્શન કર્યા છે લઈને વિશ્વનાથેર વિશેષ દેવ વેશ દર્શન અર્જન. So Vishwanath also is dressed in a better dress, and Annapurna, the golden Annapurna, is brought out, so that he saw. He met the Brahmani at Kashi. The last information about her, we had seen that she had gone to Kashi. Now, Master met him there. The Master, as I said, met the Bhairavi Brahmani named Yogeshwari at Kashi. He went several times to her house in the quarter called the 64 Yoginis. So now all that defects and all that are gone, and he visited her house in the 64 Yoginis area. The Brahmani was living there with a lady named Mokshada. The Master was pleased to see the faith and devotion of that lady. The Brahmani accompanied the Master to Vrindavan, where he asked her to live permanently. She passed away there shortly after the Master returned from Vrindavan. So, that is in between. Kashi, Prayag, Kashi, met Bhairavi Brahmani, went to Vrindavan, and so she went with Master to Vrindavan. And Master asked her to stay there. That is more suitable to her mood of Madhur Bhav with Krishna. And so she stayed in Vrindavan and passed away there. She passed away there shortly after the Master returned from them. So not during Master's stay, she stayed in Vrindavan, Master went to Kashi and then back, and she passed away. The Master went to see Mahesh, the Veena player. During their stay at Vrindavan, the Master desired to listen to the playing of the string instrument, the Veena. But his desire was not fulfilled as no Veena player was available there at that time. That desire again arose in his mind when he returned to Kashi. So Master's desire has to be fulfilled, though not in Vrindavan. In Kashi, he found accompanied by Hriday, he went to the house of the expert Veena player Mahesh Chandra Sarkar. So Thakur did not wait. He understood there is a good Veena player and he went to his house, whom he requested to play on the Veena for him. Mahesh lived in the quarter called Madanpura in Kashi. At the request of the Master, he played that day for a long time on that instrument with great delight in the presence of Thakur. Asked by Thakur, he was filled with great delight and he went on playing. As soon as he heard the sweet ringing sound of the Veena, the Master was in Samadhi. Important, please, not only vocal, the instruments properly tuned, properly played, represent Nada Brahma. And Nada Brahma is quite near to Brahma. So Master, as soon as he requested, and as soon as he heard Veena, he went into Samadhi. When he regained partial normal consciousness, he was heard to pray to the Divine Mother, saying, Mother, give me normal consciousness. I want to listen attentively to the Veena. Otherwise, he is going into Samadhi. Immediately afterwards, he was able to stay in the external plane of consciousness. So his prayer is like resolved in his own mind. When he listened to the music with delight, and now and then sang to the accompaniment of the Veena. Veena is going on and he sang vocal. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., he spent his time delightfully there. So Mahesh also went on playing 3 hours. Even he was requested by Mahesh to take a little refreshment, when he did, which he did, and returned to Mathur. Mahesh used to come daily to see the Master thereafter. He became attracted. So he used to come. First Thakur went there, then he used to come daily. the master said he completely lost himself in playing on the veena. That's why Thakur liked it. He returned to Dakshineshwar, his behavior at that time. So pilgrimage over. Mathur expressed his desire to go to Gaya, the abode of Vishnu, that is in Bihar, now perhaps Jharkhand. But as the master had a strong objection, he gave up the idea and came back to Calcutta. That is, would be on the way back. After this pilgrimage, why was the objection? That he was born by Gaya Gadadhar Vishnu being born to Kshitirama as his son. So if he goes to the place of his origin, he will get merged there. But his incarnation would have to continue. So he did not want to go to Gaya. After this pilgrimage to the principal places for about 4 months, the masters, said Hriday, returned to Dakshineshwar in the middle of 1868. The master brought from Vrindavan some earth and dust of Radhakunda and Shyamkunda. When he came to Dakshineshwar, he scattered with the help of Hriday a little of the earth and dust round the Panchavati and dug in the remainder with his own hands in his sadhana cottage. Now, 2 names why they are mentioned. That Gaya incident has been mentioned in detail in Guruva Uttarartha, so not mentioned here. Here, Raja is only mentioned. Radhakunda, Shyamkunda, Raja Anayan Korea Chilen. Raja can be dust. Here, earth and dust. Anyway. He scattered with the help of Hriday a little of the dust round the Panchavati and dug in the remainder with his own hands in his sadhana cottage, saying, this spot becomes from today a holy place like Vrindavan. Already because Thakur had done sadhana there, and now the Vrindavan dust was brought there. He requested Mathur shortly afterwards to invite Vaishnava teachers and devotees from various places. They came and the master celebrated a festival at the Panchavati. Mathur paid 16 rupees to each Vaishnava in those days. 16 might be more than 1,000 now. To each Vaishnava teacher and 1 rupee to each devotee at the time of farewell, thus showing his respect for them. 100 rupees at least and 1,000 rupees. The death of Hriday's wife and his dispassion. Temporary. Hriday's wife died a short time after he had returned from the pilgrimage. On account of that event, his mind was filled with dispassion for some time. Hriday, we said before, was not a man of contemplative temperament. His ideal of life was to improve his worldly condition and spend his life enjoying the pleasures of the world as far as possible. Though other moods came on him from time to time because of keeping the constant company of the master, they could not last long. Not the original constitution. If he had also gone in that, who would have served Thakur? Whenever there came an opportunity to satisfy his desire for enjoyment, he forgot everything else, pursued the thing long for, and until it was achieved, no other thought could enter his mind. So, it is describing Hriday's mind. Exception is his love for Thakur. Therefore, though all the master's sadhanas were performed during Hriday's stay at Dakshineshwar, The latter had little opportunity to see and understand them. He was seeing many of them but did not understand them. However, Hriday truly loved his uncle and did not fail to render whatever service was necessary for him at any time. And as a result of it, he developed great courage, adroitness, and intelligence. As a result of his accompanying the master all the time, he developed great courage, adroitness, expertness in work, and intelligence. The more the holy man came and spoke of the superhuman nature of his uncle, and the more he observed the manifestation of the divine power in him as a result of his spiritual practices, the greater was his feeling of strength within himself, that I am such and such servant. Thanks to his nearness to his dear uncle, he thought that his uncle was so much his own, and as he had become a favorite of his by his service to him, all the achievements in the spiritual world were already his too, in a way. Should he ever made an effort to have them, his uncle by his divine powers would enable him to attain them. So, not self-effort, whenever necessary, uncle would give. Should he ever made an effort to have them, his uncle by his divine powers would enable them to attain them. He therefore did not feel that he was under any obligation to think of the next world. He would at first enjoy this world a little and apply his mind to the other afterwards. That is the normal, ordinary man. Grief stricken at the death of his wife, Hriday now thought that the proper time for the latter had arrived. He applied his mind more steadfastly than before to the worship of the Mother of the Universe and used to put off his cloth and the sacred thread during the time of meditation and importunately requested the Mother to help him to have spiritual experiences similar to his own. His own? He requested Master. Okay. So, imitation of the Master he did and requested the Master to give him samadhi. The Master assured him strongly that he had no need to do those things, for all the results would be his by just serving the Master. He told him that if both of them were filled with divine inspiration day and night and forgot everything concerning the body, such as eating, sleeping, etc., neither of them could look after the other. But Hriday did not give ear to those words. The Master at last had to yield and said, "Let Mother's will be done. Does anything happen by my will?" It was Mother who turned my mind away from the world and brought about those conditions in me and made me have strange experiences. If Mother wills, so you will also have them. Because of his importunity, Thakur gave them, but immediately made him understand that he could not retain them. Hriday in Bhav Samadhi. A few days after this talk, Hriday began to have, while worshipping, a few wonderful visions and states of divine ecstasy with partial consciousness, little advanced. One day Mathura saw Hriday in that state and said to the Master, "What is the state Hriday is in, Father?" The Master explained it to him, saying, "It is no sham with him. He importunated Mother for a little vision, that is why he is having it. Mother will bring him back to his normal condition after giving him a taste of it." Father said, "Mathur, it is all your play." He understood the Mother. Only you have brought about this state on Hriday. So please calm him again. Both of us would be with you like Nandi and Bringi and serve you. Now Shiva has two main servants, Nandi and Bringi. So Mathur himself equated himself and Hriday to that and said, "We shall serve you. We will not." And later on Mathur also wanted. And Thakur had to give Mathur also a taste. We have seen that in the Guru Purana. Why should these abnormalities be with us? So now, Hriday's wonderful vision. Shortly after this conversation between the master and Mathur, one night Hriday saw the master going toward the Panchavati. Thinking that he might require his water pot and towel, he took them and followed him. That is, if he goes to answer nature's call, he will require water pot and towel. He saw that the master was not a human being, that he was not composed of flesh and blood, that the Panchavati was illumined by the light coming out of the body. So, master's real nature Hriday saw for some time. Master is like that. We see the gross part. And that while the master was walking, neither of his feet, which were also of light, did touch the ground, but carried him through the air. Taking all this to be an optical illusion, Hriday rubbed his eyes again and again, observed all the surrounding things in their natural state. So he is not under any delusion. And looked at the master once more, but to no purpose. Although he saw all other things, trees, creepers, the Ganga, the hut, etc., to be what they were, he repeatedly saw the master in that luminous form. Extremely amazed at it, Hriday asked himself whether there was any change in his mind which made him have that experience. Thinking thus, he looked at his own body and saw that he too was an effulgent being, made of light, an attendant and companion of God Himself, serving Him eternally. A part, so to say, of His person which was light embodied and now having a separate existence for the sole purpose of serving Him. A part of Thakur, come out for serving Him. That is how he looked upon himself. Sole purpose of serving Him. When he had this experience and came to know the mystery of his own life, his heart was flooded with a strong current of bliss. He forgot himself, forgot the world, and forgot to consider whether the people of the world would speak well or ill of him. He was now in ecstasy with only partial normal consciousness and cried aloud repeatedly like one mad, O Ramakrishna, O Ramakrishna, we are not mortal beings. Why are we here? Come, let us go from country to country and set souls free from bondage. I am also what you are. The master said to us, hearing him crying out thus, I said, stop, stop. What's the matter with us that you are doing all this? People will run up here thinking some evil has befallen us. But did he give ear to it at all? I then came hurriedly to him, touched his head and said, make the fellow dull and drive again, O mother. So uttering the name of the mother, he touched him and his experiences over, he became the same person again. Hriday's mind became dull. Hriday said to us that no, so he's combining Hriday saying and Master saying to give us a continuous narrative. Hriday said to us that no sooner had the Master said so than his bliss and vision vanished into the void and he was his former dull self once again. Then, thus fallen suddenly from that state of ecstasy, his mind was filled with dejection. Uncle, sobbed out he, why did you do this? Why did you say that I should become dull? I shall never again have such a blissful vision. Have I said, replied the master, that you should be forever be dull? I said, be calm now. What a noise you made with such a small vision. That was why I had to say so. What a wealth of visions and experiences I have all the 24 hours. But do I make any noise? That is the normal with him. It is not yet time for you to have such visions. Now be at rest. When it is time, you will have various visions and experiences. So when the time is right, maybe much after Thakur's passing away, that he may have that. Obstacles to Hriday sadhana, but Hriday was determined to do that. Although Hriday had to remain silent at the words of the master, he felt much wounded. Under the influence of egoism, he thought afterward that he would try to have that vision again somehow. That was by master's grace, but he thought he can have that. Reflecting thus, he increased the period of his japa and meditation and resolved that he should go at night to Panchavati and sitting under the tree where the master formerly used to sit for japa and meditation, call on the mother of the universe. Okay. Thinking so, once at dead of night, he left his bed, went to the Panchavati and sat down on the master's seat to meditate. That was terrible. The master too felt a desire to come to the Panchavati and started for it. Scarcely had he reached the place when he heard Hriday piteously calling out to him, "Save uncle, save me. I am about to be burned to death." That seed had that teja. The master stepped forward quickly, came up to him and asked him, "What is the matter, Hriday?" Restless on account of pain, Hriday said, "Uncle, no sooner had I sat down here for meditation than someone threw, as it were, a plateful of live charcoal over my body." Nobody threw. The inner heat. I am suffering from an unbearable burning pain. The master passed his hand over his body and said, "Don't be afraid, it's cool. Why do you do all this? Have I not told you again and again that you will achieve everything by serving me?" In the Mundaka Upanishad, if you serve a Brahmajna without any desire, you will attain moksha. If you serve a Brahmajna with desire, the desire will be fulfilled. That is written. So here directly incarnation is there, God is there. Hriday is to say that all his pain was immediately removed by the touch of the master's hand. So he is God, as per his will he does. He never afterwards went again to the Panchavati to practice meditation, and a conviction grew in his mind that it would not be good for him to act contrary to his uncle's advice. Hriday celebrated the autumn worship of Durga. Hriday no doubt got some sort of peace from the words of the master, but the daily duties of the temple now appeared distasteful to him. His mind was in search of some novel action from which he could derive some pleasure. Seeing the advent of the autumn season of 1868, he resolved to perform the autumnal worship of the mother in his house. Ganga Narayan, his elder half-brother, had then passed away, and Raghav, appointed to collect rent in the estate of Madhur Babu, was earning a decent income. Another brother of his, with the change of time, when prosperity dawned, a new worship hall was built. Ganga Narayan had expressed a wish that he should once bring the Divine Mother and worship her there, but he did not get an opportunity of fulfilling that wish. Hriday remembered that desire of his and tried to fulfill it, knowing that Hriday, a man of action, might possibly get peace by celebrating the worship, because after his wife's death he had become restless. The master agreed to it, while Mathur rendered pecuniary help to him. He helped him, no doubt, but expressed great eagerness to have the master at his own residence. So Mathur will not allow Thakur to go. He helped him financially during the worship. Wounded at heart on that account, Hriday made ready to go home alone to perform the worship. Seeing him thus wounded, the master Hriday told us, consoled him, saying, why are you pained? In my subtle body I shall daily go to see your worship. Nobody except you will see me. Have as the Tantradharak, a person who holds the book and goes on guiding during worship. Have the Tantradharak, a Brahmin, to dictate the mantras to you and perform the worship yourself according to your own devotion. Instead of keeping a complete fast at midday, drink milk, Ganga water and the syrup of candy. Otherwise, the generally worshippers do fast and after the night puja only they take some food. If you perform the worship in this way, the Mother of the Universe will certainly accept your worship. Hriday said that the Master gave him detailed instruction as to who should be ordered to make the image, who should be appointed Tantradharak, and how all other things should be done. He then started home with great delight to perform the worship. Hriday reached home and did everything according to the advice of the Master. He performed the rites pertaining to the sixth day of the bright fortnight, such as the awakening of the goddess, Udbodhan, the preliminary consecration of the image, Prana Pratishta, the invocation of the Devi, Avahan, etc., and engaged himself in the worship. Hriday had a vision of the Master at the time of the worship of Durga. After completing the worship enjoined for the seventh day, Hriday saw the Master in a luminous body standing in ecstasy beside the image during the adoration of the Devi with the waving of lights. So in Arti time, he saw near Devi Thakur also. Hriday said that he was filled with great zeal and ardor on having the divine vision of the Master near the image at that time every day and also during the Sandhi Puja, the juncture worship. We explained that. Hriday came back to Dakshineshwar shortly after the worship was finished and narrated to the Master everything concerning the worship. At the time of the Arati and the juncture worship, said the Master to him, I felt indeed a great yearning to see your worship, and I went into ecstasy and felt that I went along a path of light and was present in your worship hall in a luminous body, subtle body. The last occasion of Hriday's worship of Durga. Hriday told us that once the Master, while in ecstasy, said to him, you will perform the yearly worship thrice. And it actually happened. So. Disregarding the Master words, he was making preparation for the worship for the fourth time when such a series of obstacles occurred that he had at last to give it up. Hriday married again shortly after the worship of the first year and applied his mind to the service of the Master and to the worship of the Dakshineshwar temple as before. So that is the Hriday story along with Master Sadhak Bhav. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakasvam Sarvadharma Swarupakah Acharyana Mahacharyo Ramakrishna Te Namaha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Jaya Mata Jaya Mashuta Oti